All right, everybody, welcome back to another Preston Perspective. If this is your first time jumping on, I am Preston, and we talk about all sorts of things. In this one, we're going to be talking about another DC hero. Now, this DC hero is a little bit better known than some of the other ones that we've covered recently, just because of some of his attention on Young Justice and Justice League and some other places. Stargirl gives him a nod with his helmet. But we're going to go back to this picture behind me in my hero room because, in fact, this, out of all these pictures, this is the only picture that he is on. So in this video, we're going to be joined by another really great friend of mine by the name of Colby, who is a Dr. Fate, this guy right here with the helmet of fate, a Dr. Fate, like, expert. Like, he's done a lot of research. He's become a big Dr. Fate fan in the years that I have known him. So without further ado, if you guys will please give it up for my good friend, Colby.
Hey, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my personal favorite superhero, Dr. Fate. Not Doctor Strange, that's from Marvel, and believe it or not, Marvel ripped off DC on this one, as they did on many other things, but we can talk about that some other time. So, basically, Dr. Fate, super cool hero. Today I'll just be talking about really the only version of Dr. Fate that really matters, in my opinion, and that would be the OG Kent Nelson. If you've seen DC Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, that one doesn't count. I'm sorry, but Dr. Fate was not the promiscuous type. So basically, Kent Nelson, he was an archaeologist, discovering all sorts of artifacts and stuff in Egypt, because Dr. Fate, I believe, was written in 1940 or around then. So he's one of the OGs, I guess you could say, in the DC universe. Basically, he was lurking around. He found the tomb of a wizard and or god or demigod of sorts in Egypt, and his name was Nabu, not like the Star Wars planet, spelled N-A-B-U. That's the Egyptian god Nabu. So he found Nabu's helmet, which is known as the Helmet of Fate. And what Nabu did is essentially connected himself with the helmet, so that whoever wears the helmet, Nabu possesses, and that person gains all of Nabu's powers. The only thing is, Nabu is kind of controlling them at the same time, basically trying to preserve order at whatever cost. That's why Dr. Fate is known as a Lord of Order. Pretty much trying to prevent chaos at whatever cost. So that means sometimes being on what we consider the good guy side, if that means, you know, attaining order and preserving it. And sometimes that even means being on the bad guy side, if that means that we preserve order. Because, I mean, like you see with Superman, you know, he saves the city, but at what cost? He kind of burns it all down, wrecks it, just trying to defeat one villain. What if that one villain wanted to preserve order? Then in that case, Dr. Fate would probably be on the villain side. That's just an example, which I can get into a little bit more later. But for now, let's go over some of his powers and abilities, which really makes Dr. Fate stand out. So, obviously, as I stated earlier, Nabu is an Egyptian god. And so, with that comes a lot of different sort of abilities. So, whenever you're wearing the Helmet of Fate, you gain the ability to levitate and fly, so you don't really even need your feet, those can come right off the ground. Along with that, you can also teleport from one place to another. So, open a portal, I'm on the other side of the world. If I'm wearing the Helmet of Fate, that's a possibility. And one even more extreme than that is the ability to transport between different worlds, so parallel worlds. For example, in Earth 1, if Superman's a good guy, and Earth 2, Superman is a bad guy, some different event happened that caused Superman to be a bad guy. That's a whole nother parallel universe, and Dr. Fate can just transport to it like that, which is a really cool ability. Along with other abilities. Naboo was also a sort of sorcerer in the Egyptian times. So whoever bears the Helmet of Fate gains all sorts of magical abilities. So the ability to cast spells, negate certain spells. Let's see, the ability to control and wield fire and ice and all those elemental sort of stuff. Even telekinesis and telepathy. So being able to read and influence other people's thoughts and move things with your mind. So basically anything magical, supernatural that you can think of, Dr. Fate has that under his belt. And with that, I'd like to share a pretty cool moment with Dr. Fate, or at least what I think is pretty cool. Specifically in the Injustice timeline. If you've ever played Injustice 2, the video game, it was a while ago. Rest in peace, its popularity. But one really important part of it was on Brainiac's ship. Essentially, they're about to face a final boss. And earlier in the story, Dr. Fate had sent some big event about to happen. Brainiac coming in and invading Earth. So he came to warn the Justice League about it in order to preserve order. But later, Naboo and the Helmet came to realize that Brainiac, if his plan succeeded, would have essentially created order within all of these planets that he had captured and or destroyed. So Fate ended up siding with Brainiac and ended up fighting Batman and Superman, which was nuts. Of course, the story requires that Batman and Superman win against Fate, but really I think Fate would have beat either of them pretty easily, considering Fate really pretty much knows Superman and Batman's moves before they happen. Although Batman could, if he had enough time, plan a character. I don't have time to get into it, but essentially Fate is a very cool hero. Doesn't really have a side. The only side that he's on is the side of order. So yeah, that was just a little bit about my favorite superhero, Dr. Fate.
All right, and there you have it. Some fun facts, some interesting things about Dr. Fate. Thank you so much to Colby for helping us out with this video. If you liked it, give it a, one of those thumbs up, give it a like, share it with some friends. If you're curious about some other heroes like DC Comics Dr. Light or Booster Gold or even Fire, take a look at some of our past videos. We have other videos on here about heroes like Green Lantern, and I've made some heroes out of pixel art in Minecraft. So if you're into comic books and hero, make sure you give those a look as well. Have a great week, you guys. Thanks for watching.